happened?
Dude, I don't know. Last thing I remember, I was trying to show Joe Biden pictures of my cat.
What's on your arm?
I've never been this hungover, ever.
What's that noise? I think it's coming from the bathroom.
Ooh, there's a Paul Simon in the bathroom.
Oh gosh, that's not all that happened last night. Okay, we're gonna look at these photos once and then we delete them forever.
Okay. Ooh.
I'm Greg Gutfeld now with free shipping. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's the Darwin of dives, the Einstein of beer steins, the host of Bar Rescue, my favorite show on Spike, Jon Taffer. Her smile creates more global warming than years of cattle flatulence. It's Joanne Nosuchinsky. Look at that smile. He's so sharp his thoughts once gave me a flat tire. National Review columnist Tom Rogan. Like the number 13, she's odd and scary. National Review reporter Katherine Timpf, and finally, he's so big he uses the Space Needle as a toothpick. TNA wrestler Tyrus. But first, all right. There were many firsts at the DNC convention. The first time a major party nominated a woman for president. And the first time I didn't run out of underwear on a trip. Also, the first political convention where I saw Princess Leia. Maybe she thought it was Comic-Con. Who can blame her? The convention had drama over leaked DNC emails, which proved the point of Bernie's entire campaign. The system's rigged against the little guy. Now, a little guy who couldn't run a train set, much less a country, but he deserved better. There was crying among his faithful. It was like the end of Old Yeller. But there was also Meryl Streep. She spoke for me.
Oh, yeah.
Reminds me of when I had that kidney stone. Once more. I'm wondering, is she planning to play Howard Dean in a film? Now, then there were the A-list Dems, all there on behalf of Hillary. You had Michelle, you had Barack, you had Joe, you had Bill, you had every major lib who wasn't currently incarcerated. And they delivered, as they kept their candidate in storage like your childhood doll with one eye. Did it help? Well, Thursday had amazing speakers. You had relatives of murdered police officers. That was moving. You had General Allen, who was incredibly persuasive. Mr. Khan was brutal and eloquent. After that, even I could vote Democrat. But then it changed. The first part of the evening was real. The second part pretended to be real. You had Katy Perry. She's as empty as a public library. Chelsea Clinton, who spoke like she's trying to order from the McDonald's drive-thru.
I never once doubted that my parents cared about my thoughts and my ideas. And I always, always knew how deeply they loved me.
Like a Chinese restaurant after midnight, no delivery. Stupid joke. Stupid joke. Then came Hillary.
That's the country we're fighting for. That's the future we're working toward. And so, my friends, it is with humility, determination, and boundless confidence in America's promise that I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
All right. Not as shouty as usual, but she still seemed as programmed as a Roomba. So after all these great speakers, they handed the ball to Hillary, who dropped it like a classified email. Why not? I'll take it. Friday, Saturday. How bad was it? Let's ask her husband, Bill.
We will disrupt their efforts online to reach and radicalize young people in our country. It won't be easy or quick, but make no mistake, we will prevail. Now, Donald Trump says, and this is a quote.
Hats off to Tim Kaine, trying to block the shot. That's what a good running mate does. Although, how can he hide this?
Hillary Clinton basking in the glow of this room, accepting her party's invitation. You see her there?
Yes, she got that excited, sincerely excited over balloons. Maybe her software has a bug.
Period.
Yeah. All right. John, you're never one to criticize.
No.
Give me your general take on everything this week. What did you come away with?
I thought it was a checklist.
Yeah.
Demographics over here. Issues over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the checklist was done, good night, Irene, it was boundless.
Yeah. Yes. Every time you do that, I keep thinking something's going to fly out of your ass.
That's what I thought when I watched her.
Yes. At a certain age, you can't do that anymore. Unless you're wearing something, Tom. What are your thoughts?
I thought the convention was, in terms of the stagecraft on the final night, it was actually very good in that first half. It was passionate. It was moving. It was a Muslim American captain who served his country with distinction.
It's fantastic.
And that spoke to actually a kind of iceberg type metaphor that there are a lot of American Muslims in the CIA, for example, who they're not people who look like us who are able to penetrate the Pakistani tribal provinces.
Yes.
So that was right to do. But then, of course, Hillary Clinton comes.
Yeah.
And she's so predictably fake.
Yeah.
And so bored with anything except getting through it and sort of delivering those lines. And I think ultimately I don't think she's going to have a bump after this, because it was just, what was there?
I could use a bump after that. I don't even know what that means. Tyrus, I have no idea what that means.
Bump? Oh, that's when I push you on the ground and you fall backwards?
Yes. Which we're doing later back at my place. Tyrus, you seem kind of fed up and angry about this whole thing.
Well, it was exactly what I thought it was. The great speakers were great.
Right.
There was no question. We expected that from them. We expected Hillary to be great, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
And the Bernie thing is a lot bigger than people realize. In my estimation, this is the exact same thing that George Bush Sr. went through with Ross Perot. And I think the Bernie people are not going to vote.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's over. And I don't think he wants it over. He had a certain swagger to him. He wasn't cruising it up.
No.
But he didn't have an issue either. And it was a lot of, and they did a very good job of hiding all the ugliness. The protests outside, what happened, Geraldo Rivera was garbage. It was like, the man's an institution.
Well, should be in one.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, he almost got us Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was I mean,
Al
he
has been around. He's our
Al
Walter
Capone or Jimmy Hoffa. Anyway, he gets mad when I bring it up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he is an American institution as a journalist.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, he's covered everything.
Yeah, he has.
And for him to have water thrown on him because
and by the way,
disgusting.
The people who do that do it from behind. Like, they came up from behind Geraldo, threw water on him, and then they run away. They always run away. And Geraldo could kick their ass. Don't be fooled by Geraldo. He would kick their ass.
That's my point.
I'm saying that because Geraldo's mad at me right now.
And he's bullying you.
He's bullying me. He's mad at me, so I'm trying to make that. So I want to get Kat and Joe in here. Kat, you first. As a libertarian, do you see any of this having any effect on, say, moving towards Gary Johnson?
Absolutely, because Gary and Bernie agree on a lot of things, except for the economy. Which is kind of a big thing. You know, money is important to me, and I think it should be to everyone because it's how you buy stuff. But I don't know. Hillary's speech, I haven't been the biggest fan of her. But then she was talking about how poor her grandma was and how her grandma ate such cheap lunches. Yeah. And I'm a single issue voter. It's whoever has the grandma who had the cheapest lunches wins. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, now I'm definitely all about, no, it's ridiculous. It's sad. I would love to be excited about a female president. We do need more women in positions of power. I hate when people deny that, but I hate when people say that means we automatically need Hillary Clinton.
You should vote for the nanny
that took care of Chelsea while Hillary was away.
Ooh, nice. All right. Do you want to talk about Katy Perry or do you want to talk about something else? I don't know why I said that.
Listen, I don't know if we were all watching the same convention, okay? I thought it was great. Like this moment. I think we have some tape.
Yes.
This was an amazing, I mean, the balloons. Bill Clinton, if only we could all have the kind of joy that this man has in front of balloons.
You know what? By the way, this was the first time he said, check out those balloons with actual balloons.
No. No, I mean,
had they put dollars in those balloons, the room would have been full.
Yeah. I think that there were a lot of great moments when you have a lot of these great speakers, like we were saying, and performers. Katy Perry had a little bit of a rough time there. It's hard in a venue like that. But what's crazy to me is that Hillary Clinton gets paid so much money to give speeches like this, and yet most people were kind of disappointed with it.
But that reflects the whole issue here, and I think it's why, and again, just so people, because Tyrus mentioned this before, I am actually an American citizen. My dad was in the State Department. I don't want people to judge the British accent.
Yes.
Right? So I'm talking about American politics as an American. But look, when she says these speeches for hundreds of thousands of dollars and then goes to the convention, the connection point is that she is the nominee for the Democrats because it was essentially the establishment had decided very early on, and all the weight and all the people and all the coalescence of resources. But at the same time, those earlier speeches, they're paying her for a reason. They wanted it's a capitalist society. You know, banks are paying because they want some dividend from her.
They're not going to pay her tons of money to come up there and roast them.
It's sort of, so that would be funny.
It's almost like you're hiring someone who's on a payroll of your competition.
Almost.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that conflict is so great, but yet we're hiring them anyway.
When I was watching, I just felt like when Hillary talks, it's like there was a little Hillary inside her head pulling multiple levers. Smile. Raise voice.
But
checklist.
Finish joke.
Does she know that you can open your eyes like just a little and still see?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go like this.
Ooh, that's
and
a bumper
you can still
sticker.
See.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows it or not.
We have in wrestling, which wrestling and politics never mix, but whatever. Call it out there. Feel it. You know, guys in the back be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm like, but what if the crowd cheers when they boo? She sticks to the script. She's been telling the same speech for 40 years. So you know what? If I had to come out here and say, good morning, hi everyone, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to help you. Somebody clap, thank you very much, God bless America, I'm your guy. After a while,
can't listen anymore.
There's no average.
And you know what? Trump repeats himself with emotion, and she's not going to be on that debate stage. She's alone. There will not be General Allen or Barack Obama or Joe Biden, Michelle. She's up there. She doesn't have super friends. Super friends will not be there to help her. And that's my point.
The big difference between her and Trump is engagement.
Yeah, engagement.
Trump engages, she avoids. That's why she's had no press releases.
You know what?
She's never going to connect until she starts talking with people, not at them.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to go.
That's the problem.
I got to go. But you know what she is? She's the last slice of pizza in your fridge when you come home after last call. It's the only thing the Democrats got right now is that last slice of pizza. All right. Up next. Numbers. Are they useful for counting or tools of the devil? We find out. But first, did Trump invite Russia to hack Hillary, or was he just joking? I'd ask him, but we're not speaking. So the Democrats got hacked harder than a chicken thigh at the local butcher. Here's President Obama Tuesday reacting to the leaked emails. I wonder if he said he knew experts have attributed this to the Russians.
I know that experts have attributed this to the Russians. What we do know is that the Russians hack our systems, not just government systems, but private systems. But you know, what the motives were in terms of the leaks, all that, I can't say directly.
Oh. That was boring. And when something's boring, you know what you do on TV? You roll tape of Donald Trump.
If it is Russia, which is probably not, nobody knows who it is, but if it is Russia, it's really bad for a different reason, because it shows how little respect they have for our country when they would hack into a major party and get everything. But it would be interesting to see. I will tell you this. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So less than 20, they're applauding sound on tape. That's how much they love Donald. All right, less than 24 hours after making that remark, Trump told Brian Kilmeade, never heard of him, that he was just being, quote, sarcastic. But was he? Or better question, was he? That was the same question. Just testing you, America. Ferrara. All right. Should, okay. Now, Tyrus, should Trump be more careful? I mean, I think he was kidding. But should he be more careful?
Coming from, I've used to bounce in bars and stuff, and you're the king of fixing bars and stuff. I've heard drunk rants all through my life, and he doesn't drink. So I don't know what it is, why he does that. The only thing he didn't do would be like, her email's hillaryrules@gmail.com. Try the password, I hate Bill, I love Chelsea, cats are cute. Here's my email, send me the results. Yeah. So you can't make comments like that and then say, oh, I was being sarcastic. Like,
I don't know, though, because I heard it. What, Kat, go?
I love that I'm sarcastic. I really do. I think that you can just say whatever. Like, I'm sorry, undercover officer. Like, I know it seems like I just tried to pay you to kill my wife, but I was being sarcastic. But I get what he's doing. I don't think he's serious. I think he thinks, what would happen if I say this? Yeah. And then he just has to say it to see what happens. I do this all the time.
No, you know what's funny? He looks at the English language like a cliff. And he's walking towards it, and he's like going, maybe I'll jump. Maybe I won't. And he doesn't realize if you don't jump, no one will know that you had the opportunity. So don't jump!
Learning is a mental disease.
It's tempting. Yes. Like, I've been out on, like, a date with a guy, and I'll just think to myself, like, I wonder what would happen if I told him, like, better call me back or I'm going to kill your dog. And, like, I know that I shouldn't, but once the thought's in my head, it's, like, too late.
And then you kill the dog.
I think he's onto something. Because if the Russians find the emails, maybe they will indict her then.
Yeah, well, you know.
Maybe there's a win here.
Well, to John's point there, I mean, weren't we all kind of thinking what he said? I mean, if they're so good at hacking the DNC's emails, and Hillary has a private server, I kind of feel like hers might be more valuable to enemies of ours, her emails, especially when she's Secretary of State.
Do you know that my wife has the code to my phone, and she's Russian.
You're in trouble, Greg.
I think, Russia and China and those that are hacking, they're hacking movies, scripts. I mean, they're not exactly getting like bomb details and blueprints and White House stuff. They're getting movies and stuff, so their hacking's not as awesome as everyone's like.
Well, no, the Russians, the Chinese.
You're the expert on this, by the way. I forgot about that.
Because of my accent. No,
you predicted this stuff.
I did on my Gutfeld group. Yeah. Thank you for the. Normally, I just.
Well, don't revel in this.
Got lucky.
Well, look, here's the problem. The Russians do a lot of this. Trump shouldn't have joked about it, but the central issue here has to go back, and it does. You know. Sometimes it gets overplayed, but it's a very pure example of media bias in how it was reported, because the central issue is that the Secretary of State of the United States was supposed to maintain records and deleted tens of thousands of emails. And you can't get away from that. And there was really serious stuff on there. Now, you know, debate about the Bureau. I suspect the Russians do have those emails. She was a high priority target right from the offset. She had this stupid server in the toilet. And they were going to go for it. And they did go for it. And I'm sure it's going to be the October surprise, I think. And you know what? She only has herself to blame.
October surprise.
So imagine.
So, by the way, imagine if that's on Urban Dictionary.
Right. Imagine if she wins and the emails surface then.
Right. Blackmail.
Maybe if they're being held in someone's back pocket until that point. So the fact of the matter is when you violate things and open yourself that way, there's a course later, a blackmail that, you know, exposes
us all. She'll just pardon herself.
Yes. Can she do that?
I feel like you can.
I don't understand. You know what I'm sympathetic about? I take no satisfaction in any kind of leak.
Right.
Some leaks. Okay, and it's going to happen to all of us. Just realize that I have the same Yahoo account that goes back to 1996. Right. And it's like, there's stuff that I've done that I don't even want to talk about it.
You have a Yahoo account?
I have a Yahoo account.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If somebody hacked into my computer history, I would do a samurai suicide in the middle of this room.
Exactly.
We have the computer history. Yes, you do. And goodbye.
No. The fact is, that's how you find out who someone really is if you see what they're searching.
Because you have a bad day and you look at weird stuff to feel better. That's who you are as a person.
I remember I went through a terrible phase of. Well, there were some unusual art films that were being produced in a small country. Oh, look at tease. Anything else before we move on? Good. Okay.
Does it bother anyone that Obama said, we know the Russians are hacking us, but he doesn't say what he's doing about it? He's almost like the dental monitor in that commercial. You got a cavity, but I don't fix it.
That's true. That's true. All right. Coming up, it's installment 2 of my great series, Greg's Little People, in which I interview coworkers who are far less important than I am. Oh, there was a lot to choose from. Stick around. As was the case last week at the RNC, I attended the Democratic National Convention, and just like in Cleveland, I learned a lot from everyone. So by popular demand, which is a total lie, no one demanded it. Here's a humble look at my time in Philly in a segment that I'm calling
Greg's Little People.
This is Greg Gutfeld with the Greg Gutfeld Show. This is part 2 of my favorite segment, Greg's Little People. This is where I interview people who are less important than I am. Just state your name and what you do. You know, there's some people that might not know who you are. I mean, I know it's hard to believe.
Yeah, my name is Shannon Bream. I work in the D.C. office. I cover the Supreme Court.
Okay, I think you're lying to me now. Let's talk about the convention here. If you could pick a headline that would best describe the past 2 weeks, what would it be?
I love to write headlines and captions, and I've been keeping a list. Democrats suddenly discover America is great.
Nice!
Democrats achieve unity with socialists.
Very good.
Are you like really impressed or just saying?
No. You know, can I hear? Here are mine. Biceps, Gutfeld has them in spades. Turn to fold out page 3, 4, section A. Politics and pecs. How Gutfeld merges sinewy beauty into the election season. With a special commentary by Juan Williams. Right, Juan?
Absolutely, because, you know, I'm just such an admirer.
Yeah, I've seen you look at me. You know who the winner was, in my opinion? Me. Because I perfectly matched the number of pairs of underwear to the number of days I was here.
Oh, no, I brought extra. I win.
Yeah, but you were factoring in accidents. I took a risk. I said, you know what? 6 pairs, 6 days. Deal with it, world. Juan Williams. 1 in a million guy. He's 1 in a million. Old tube song, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. How are you?
How's your sinewy muscles?
They're still sinewy. What was your favorite part of the convention? And you can say me.
You.
Okay. What was your second favorite? And don't say Eric Bowling, because he's over there.
Eric Bowling.
How's the convention going for you?
It's been great.
Yeah.
You know what I really love the most?
What?
When, you know, the absolute best part of the convention is when reporters and hosts come up and they're so mailing it in that they do their interviews from the tent.
Exactly. I sit over there, so this is the laziest man on the street ever.
Did you take the car service over?
Yes, I did. And by the way, I'm expensing everything. You should
have security with you. Where is it?
What's your favorite part of the convention so far?
This. Right now. This. Favorite part, honestly?
Yeah.
I got to hang out with Eric Carmen at his house and see all the gold records.
Wow. Alone, by myself.
All by myself. Don't want to be.
All by myself. You're a rock and roller, aren't you?
Yeah, you can tell.
You like to party. You party down.
It's a corporate exterior, but if you want
underneath, you wouldn't. It's tattoos of his entire body, so you can't even tell they're tattoos. It's just one full body tattoo of his body.
I'm over here.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. James, always a pleasure. And I love your tie.
Be well.
You be well.
All right, then.
Somebody has to end this.
The stars is on like your tie.
Very good. I'm the worst. I don't care. I don't do any hard work, Joe. I said I'm doing a segment and I just got it from my desk and walked around my desk.
And you bother the people around you. I think in fact that was Shannon Bream in the background who was giving you the thumbs down.
Where?
Let's see that again. I think as you're singing. There we go. You know what?
You know what?
I think that was Dana Perino.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And what a shot of my neck. There you go. That's what happens when you get old, people. Any questions, comments? I don't care.
What was the hotel like that they put you up? I heard mixed things about the Fox News hotel.
I heard the hotel might have had a case of Legionnaire's disease many years ago.
God.
Many years ago, but I found it to be very nice. I enjoyed it. I had room service.
Was there a higher ranking hotel for people such as yourself?
I actually had a helicopter that took me to my Hamptons retreat every night.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Good. All right. Enough of this crap. Obviously, people don't care. Special. All right. When we come back, Bar Rescue's Jon Taffer is going to tell us how to fix this country if this country were a troubled bar deeply in debt, which it is.
If you'll be in the New York area and would like to be part of our studio audience, email Greg Tix at foxnews.com.
I don't have any intentions of buying any bar.
You obviously don't have a lot of intentions in running one either. And you're getting paid a lot of money for doing it. If you want to be a good guy, it's time to back her up and solve this.
A lot of great decisions in hair there. All right, that's a look at the great show Bar Rescue on Spike, hosted by the great Jon Taffer. And it got me thinking, it takes a lot to run a bar, and it takes a lot to run the country. Could you apply the same principles that make a successful tavern to leading a great country like ours? John, I go to you. Is there anything that you would give, if you thought the country was a bar, what should be done?
First of all, I put the budget in the bottle and say don't pour too much. That would be the first thing that I would do, right? So you can only pour so much.
A clear bottle.
So I can watch them.
Yeah.
I'd put an inventory system on it, and I would count every time they pour it out of the frickin' bottle. That's the first thing I would do. The next thing I would do is I would understand that I serve the customers, not myself.
Wow.
So that's the second thing that I would do. The third thing that I would do is I would commit to some standards of behavior. I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't take money from competitors that have contrary interests. And honestly, I wouldn't use language that offended half of the voters to go to the other side and beat up both sides.
Right, right.
So, and I'd probably try to keep my negatives a lot lower.
Would you put a temporary ban on Muslims drinking?
Oh, no. No, I never put a ban on taking money.
No,
Never,
that's
never.
true. That's true. And you would never build a wall. Well, sometimes a wall is good around a bar.
A wall is good around a bar, but you got to have a gate.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You got to bring people in the gate. And then the fact of the matter is that that gate has to have some appeal to it.
Very good. All right. You know, I have some ideas. I owned a bar once. It was a disaster. I have some ideas for bars, theme bars, that I wanted to run by you, and just you tell me if this is a good idea or why it's not. So my first one is Comfortably Rum. It's a bar based entirely on the Pink Floyd classic album, The Wall. And all you drink is rum.
So it's a rum bar?
Yes, a rum bar called Comfortably Rum, and there's nothing but The Wall is playing the whole time.
That's actually, speaking of walls, I'm not sure that bar is going to have much of a gate, to tell you the truth, to get in. I'm guessing it'll work for about, what do you think, 12 minutes?
Yes.
About
Depends on the light
minutes,
show.
You ready to rip your eyes out?
How about this
Depends on
one?
how much acid everyone's on.
Yes, and there will be acid in the water. How's this? 6-pack absinthe. So you drink absinthe while doing sit-ups.
So if he turns it into 5-minute abs, what do you do then?
Well, then I don't know. No one ever pursues these questions that I write.
I can honestly tell you that abs, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 minutes will never happen with me. I'm so happy with Beer Gut Alley.
How about ciders and spiders? It's a hard cider bar infested by pregnant daddy longlegs.
I think it's got legs.
Yeah. And eggs.
The only thing I think worse than you creating bar concepts was you singing a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Not a karaoke bar, Greg. Don't do that.
What's wrong with you now, Tyrus?
Pregnant daddy long.
Yes.
Would you test them to make sure this one's not pregnant? Get her out of here.
Get out. Yeah, it's the opposite of a normal
Yes.
bar. You're not drinking here, lady.
Get out of here.
What about Greg's Booze and Ball Pit? So this is where it's a cross between a Chuck E. Cheese and a craft brewery.
It's a festive party bar is what it is.
Yeah.
Put a couple of clowns in there, we're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. What about Shots and Shots? It's a gun range and vodka bar.
That's good.
And you don't get the gun until you 4th or 5th drink.
Yes, exactly.
Probably a high turnover rate.
That's probably a bad idea. Wouldn't you say that's a bad idea?
I would think so.
Fins and Gin. It's an underwater bar where you can drink gin through a snorkel tube.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to that one. Do you?
Is this bit now officially dead?
Yes.
I think so.
All right. Well, then I'll stop.
Should I give you some talk show ideas?
No. Oh, nicely done. Should a businessman run a country?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We are business. You know, when you think about it, what are the 4 things of business? Capitalization, development, operating it, and exit. Those are the 4 things that a great president should do. Manage the money, be able to develop things, be able to operate things, and then 4 years later get the hell out of there and turn it over to somebody else.
And I want to come on, you know, John's mentioning about keeping things on the budget. If you saw Hillary Clinton this week, it didn't get noticed. Earlier in July, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, says that the debt is going to skyrocket again, even more than it's going to be 140%, 120% or something, you know, by 2040.
Right.
And it's on an up curve. And then this week she proposes all these new expenditure programs. Where's the money coming from? Then they say corporations, the wealthy, and that's it. But the wealthy, you know, you can
running out of wealthy.
You can make the argument for that. But at the moment, the top 10% of taxpayers are paying 70% of federal revenue. California, the effective tax rate is about 61%. So at some point this money runs out. Europe tried to do this. This is what the problem I have with the Democrats. This has been tried in Europe. It doesn't work, and youth unemployment in Spain of 45% renders where it goes.
Isn't an idiot defined as doing the same thing and expecting a different result?
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a joke. We're turning into Venezuela, aren't we, Kat?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe?
Do I get a free trip there?
Yes. No, you don't want to go.
No.
You don't want to go.
Why?
By the way,
Twice last year.
You went, it's
Bring
beautiful,
toilet
isn't
paper
it?
as well.
But it's in big trouble. It's in big trouble. Speaking of big trouble, I want to exit with a video from Australia. If I had $1 for every time I said that. It was 3:30 in the morning and the bar was closed. One guy wasn't done drinking, so he smashed the front door with a keg. There he is. Then he crawled through. Take a look at this. Face first. Yeah. He didn't notice he'd already busted the door. Bring back any memories, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Are we sure that was a dude? Not me.
Yes. All right. Very good, very good, very good. Great tips, by the way. All right, the 5th season of Bar Rescue premieres August 7th on Spike. Coming up, the Summer Olympics are almost here. Joanne and Katherine have some ideas for new events. My vote goes for synchronized staying at home. The Rio Olympics are less than a week away. So far, it's predicted it will go very smoothly. Except for the potential dangers of the Zika virus and the latest reports of ISIS threats and the dozens of Russian athletes suspended for doping and the reports that the swimmers shouldn't drink the water. Why just the swimmers? Anyway, but other than that, things are looking great. Despite all these reports, we sent our correspondents Joanne Nosuchinsky and Katherine Timpf to Brazil to give us the latest reports.
Brazil, home of the rainforest, Christ the Redeemer, my favorite kind of wax, and next week, the Olympics.
With just days left, Rio still doesn't seem ready, leading us to question, do we really need the Olympics? And more importantly, do we really need the Olympics?
To Little Brazil Street! Have you heard of Brazil?
Of course.
Great start. Okay, and the Olympics, do you have a favorite event?
For winter, I like ice skating.
Unfortunately, this is summer.
So the motto for the Olympics is live your passion. Don't you think that's kind of a dumb idea?
No, you should always live your passion.
That's what I said, but he was like, don't text me 100 times in a row.
Do you think that there should be, I don't know, any large spectacle, any celebrities you want to see?
No, not really.
No?
No.
What if you were to lead off the Olympic ceremony? Surprise, you're going! Just kidding, this isn't that kind of show.
You know that there's super bacteria in the water there.
Yes, I know. People should be careful over there.
Be careful, it might turn into like a monster.
That is correct.
We're going to play a quick rapid-fire game here of what events should be added to the Olympics. Are you ready?
What about stand-up napping, where you see if you can fall asleep in line for the bathroom?
What a great competition.
I agree. Beer pong? Of course. Funneling?
Sure.
Wine tasting?
Oh, yes. I'd like to compete there.
These are all just my hobbies.
What about JK Living, where you play bongos on the beach with Matthew McConaughey and there's no competition, just love?
I'll pass on that one.
Ambien shopping. You take an Ambien, whoever buys the weirdest wins.
No.
Oh, is it because you're afraid that you can't beat me?
Well, we could always try to say.
We could. I'm not doing anything tonight.
Oh, and how about lying with athlete Hillary Clinton?
Once we get through all of the Russian athletes and whether or not they can participate, I guess we can get onto her.
Yeah, she might make the U.S. proud. Or might not.
And what about Dobbs Athlon, where you look at pictures of Lou Dobbs and talk about which one's the hottest?
If there's lots of eye candy, maybe?
There is.
All right, okay, for sure.
It is.
Yay. All right. Real quick, what are you going to watch? Is there anything you want to watch on the Olympics?
I want to see where they stress test the building and all the water came down.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
the event that I want to see. The
Yeah,
look
your
on
car
their
rescue.
faces, the sludge coming through the roof. That's what I want to see.
You should have done Olympic rescue, Tom.
I'd like to see an event. I've thought about this for a while, which suggests in 2014, Kat gets to do far more interesting things, but I was reviewing the ISIS videos. And that formative impact for me was I'd love to have an event where, if anyone's seen the Great White Sharks and documentary on Seal Island, where it's the False Bay, they have to swim across just the 3 miles and see what happens. And, you know, if they make it, maybe they get let go out of the back of a plane. But, you know, they have to, that would be enjoyable for me. Maybe that suggests a mild psychosis, but, I'd like to see that.
To that point, I actually swam there with a great shark. It's pretty cool.
I bet the sharks were looking at you and going, no thanks.
Like, whoa, big seal. Thank God for cages. The Olympics, I really feel at this point, I think it's kind of it's like a dinosaur. It's kind of gone. Me, I'm going to watch rugby.
Yeah.
Because I have a pool at Hard Knock South where we all got random teams. I got France. And, I'll watch that. But to be honest with everyone's doping, everyone, the amateur status and all, and it's just either you open it up and let's just get everybody juiced up and see some awesome stuff.
Yeah, like alien monsters.
Let's just everyone do it. Game on. Scientists, get your teams together.
You know what
that'll be great ratings.
You know what it'll turn into? It'll turn into like Godzilla versus Mothra.
And we'll all watch.
We'll all watch because our athletes will no longer look like humans. They'll just be these incredible monsters.
Oh my God, that Russian guy ripped the judge's head off. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be out of a job because wrestling will be good. I'm going to the Olympics to watch, so just it's dead. There's no honor anymore.
I'm over it. I liked it when I was a kid, but I liked a lot of dumb stuff when I was a kid because that's what kids do.
Yeah, that's so true. Way to denigrate the athletes.
Where's the patriotism?
I like the athletes.
Look, the athletes they're doing a great job, but I don't understand what it has to do with me.
It doesn't.
Sort of like the World's Fair.
But you know what?
We got to give the athletes work so hard. Yes. It's a shame that Rio is not living up to the expectations of the athletes.
Yeah.
Enough bashing these wonderful people.
Great job.
I'm just talking only about the American team, by the way. All right, we'll close things out with some final thoughts. Don't go away. We're almost out of time, so...
What you've wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
Tom?
I grew up abroad. The United States, whatever happens...
You grew up abroad?
In the UK.
Well, I commend your transition.
That's the only transition. There haven't been any others. All right, but the United States, whatever happens in this election, will remain the world's exceptional nation. And the reason for it is, especially in divergence to the rest of the world, is the energy of American society and the passion and the fact that we speak our minds more than other people do. That comes from freedom, and it's important.
Tyrus?
You got to say something silly, but there's an article. I've been in Louisiana for I was filming a movie out there, and I was in the situation with the shootings in Baton Rouge and stuff and all the negative press and stuff. But there was a shooting in Medellin, Louisiana, where a young black teenager went for his gun on a sheriff, and he was shot by the sheriff. And his parents did something that, me as a black man, we don't have enough in our community. They went on, and I don't even know if this was a national story or not, but I'm probably going to say the name right, so I have my phone right to make sure I say it right, because I just feel like this was an amazing, courageous thing to do that we don't, like Black Lives Matters, they don't ever support anything like this because their mission is to go against the police. But the Martez, They said, we love our son, but he put his life in his own hands when he broke the law.
Powerful.
And your son is gone. And it's so quick with everything that's going on today to blame the police department. But here's two parents who just lost their son and said he was on the wrong path. He made a choice. And he lost his life because he was breaking the law, and he went for a gun, and the police shot him. It wasn't racism. It was about, this is the first time that I can remember in a long time that someone's actually broken the law, and this thing happens, and you don't want to see anybody die, but to take responsibility for your actions. I commend that family, and it's not a national story because it's not juicy.
Doesn't fit the narrative. All right. Okay, Kat, close the show.
Okay, I actually have some great news that I really need to share.
Yes.
Yeah. So last night, like most nights, I spent like most of it tweeting at Dateline's Keith Morrison.
Right.
And I started out really tame, just like, I love your voice. Why is Morgan Freeman narrating this instead of you? And then he wasn't answering, so I said, I wake up every morning just hoping that somehow Dateline Keith will notice me. And he responded. He said, there's a treatment for that. I'm not kidding. I think he was being mean, but it's okay.
He interviewed me once many years ago. Pleasant fellow.
You told me that, and I've been never jealous of you more.
Yes, all right. There is a treatment for that, too. Okay. Jon Taffer, thank you. Joanne, Tom, Rogan, Katherine, Tyrus.